Now then, crew, and welcome back to the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel. And we're busy currently servicing a Suzuki 500cc Kingquad. It's around about the 2020 vintage, and it's the one with the power steering. It's called an AXI here in New Zealand. Now, this next job doesn't need to be done at this particular service interval. It's only done 1,800 kilometers. It's practically a brand new bike. But we're going to replace the fuel filter. So, first job is to have a quick look at the service manual and see what's involved. Here we go. Used.
You don't paint something without warning.
Honestly. Now, according to the service manual, this replacement of the filter isn't normal or a normal requirement. So you've got to dig a bit deeper into the manual, and on page 1G-9 in the fuel system, it tells us here how to replace the fuel pump assembly removal installation. Now, the sock filter is mounted on the fuel pump itself, so we've got to take the fuel pump out to replace the filter. It says, number 1, remove the fuel tank. Refer to fuel tank removal and installation, page 1G-8, which is the previous page. So we've got lots of information running down here if you're interested on how to remove the fuel tank. Now, in all honesty, I can't believe that you've got to take the fuel tank out just to get the fuel pump out and to replace the filter. That would be a bit of a overkill, to be honest. So we're going to give it a go with the fuel tank in situ. So it's mounted underneath the ECU and a lot of wiring. So we'll head over to the bike and we'll get the ECU. It's mounted on little plastic plates. We'll get that moved out of the way to gain access to the top of the fuel pump. And it has this big collar on, the big plastic collar that we need to unscrew in order to get the pump out. Hopefully there's going to be enough clearance. If there isn't, this job could get a whole lot worse. So buried under here is the fuel pump. So I've got some more of these wonderful little pull pin things to take out. There's one. There's another one, which is a bit harder to get to. Just leave it off the wiring harness, Mr. Young, why not? 2. Right, any more? Still seems to be held in pretty well. Not the easiest thing to get out, but it has to come out regardless. Start a relay. A fuse for something. It's always fun when you haven't worked on this particular model of bike before. It's always a bit of a learning curve, isn't it? Well, we can get rid of the ECU. Get rid of the fuse box. That should just unclip from there, hopefully. There we go. Right, so can you see any more pins? Seems very reluctant to come out, does this thing? And it could all be to no avail if we can't get the actual pump out. Do I have to take all the relays out as well? I don't think so. That can't be right. This should all come in one piece. I'll get a torch in and see what's going on. There's a lot of debris in here. Seriously, have I got to pull all these off as well? Man, shouldn't have to do that. This will be fun putting it all back in order, won't it? Right, there's a couple of clips for the harness. Probably Christmas tree clips, hopefully. There's one. There's another one down here, look. Two. Right. All of that now should just push out of the way. Then we can see what the hell is going on. Definitely doesn't want to move. All this crap. We've got some movement. There we go. Right, it's on little clips, so you've got to slide it forwards, and that should unclip on these three little lugs here. Look, I found out the hard way. Right, so I'll get a zip tie and just hold all this out of the way so we can see what's going on. Okay, mind your eyes, we need to have a bit of a clean up. Jeez, that was fun. Okay, we've got the electrical connectors to undo and the actual fuel line itself, and these are normally on like a safety clip, so you can't. Where's my screwdriver? Yeah, so that. There we go. Look, so how we go with this. So we should be able to push those two little clips in there, one either side. So a pair of long nose pliers would be good for that. Now, there will be some residual fuel pressure in the line, so if we disconnect the fuel pump, start the bike, and that'll dissipate the fuel pressure, it doesn't spray all over us. So we'll just unplug that first. There we go. Hopefully it won't flag any fault codes. Fuel pump obviously not priming. Good, we've broken the bike. Doesn't start, and now we can undo that, hopefully. That's the plan. Might need to go and read the manual. There we go. Right, so fuel pipe is now off and out of the way. So now we're going to undo this collar. Hopefully it won't be too tight. Jeez, that's tight. That's really tight. What have we got that'll go on there? It does look like they've actually pushed the frame in a bit, so there should be enough clearance to get it out, which is good news. Smells of fuel, of course. Now I could use some massive grips, but I don't want to damage it. Maybe I've got a clutch tool that I could use. Hang on. Maybe. Will it go big enough? I don't know. I'll get it on one of those lugs. Might just work. Trying to push it against two lugs at once. Right, hands are in the way, I know. Well, the idea was good. Obviously don't want to damage the pump because these things are bloody expensive. Oh, there we go, look. Right, I need to do that a few more times. Try and keep that fuel hose out of the way, we don't want to damage that. There's a will, there's a way. Yes, there we go. Now remind me, because there's no location on this, remind me that that's basically the fuel output In fact, we can just take that off there so it doesn't get damaged. Don't lose that, jeez. So now we should be able to undo the collar all the way, remove the collar, and then get the pump out. Hopefully. Right, collar is free. Jeez, it's a tight fit. I can see why they say remove the fuel tank. But it's so close. Way torchy. Right. Okay, so collar's out. Phew. That took some doing. Now the question is, just going to get a zip tie, just hold that back out of the way. Now of course, make sure you're doing this in a well ventilated area, and it's not a good idea to have a cigarette while you're doing this either. Okay, now the prize. Is it going to come out? Yes, it is. Look at that. Right. Obviously, the pump is full of fuel and water by the looks of it. Jeez. Okay, we'll just stick that back in there for now. Oh no! Hand in petrol. Alright, we'll stick it up out of there with a ring. How's that? Okay, we have the pump, and that is the prize, the sock filter. So, over to the bench. Woohoo! We got it out, despite what the manual said. It wasn't actually that bad to do. I just hope I can remember where all those relays go, but we'll work it out. Okay, so we need to remove this bottom tray. Now, this is designed so that when you go up hills and stuff, even if the fuel tank's a bit low on fuel, it's going to keep a little reservoir of fuel around the pickup so the pump doesn't run dry and you don't run out of fuel, basically. So we need to remove that first, and then we can pop off that sock filter and fit the new one. Now, the sock filter that I've been sent is this one here. There's the part number, look, 1542031G00. Hopefully it's the right one. We should check now before we pull the old one off, just in case we damage it. So that is the new part. Let's have a comparison. Let's have a look. Well, it does look the same. It's got the seam down this side, and the pickup is basically about the same place. So I think we're good with the filter, so we can proceed with the job. Okay, very delicate. Don't want to break it. Crazily expensive if I do. Now this base looks like it just snaps into place on these two pivots, so hopefully we can just unsnap it without, well, snap's probably the wrong word, isn't it? Unclip. You know, I've got a little flat screwdriver just to ease it out. Okay, here we go. If I get it down there, a bit of smaller one might help. Jeez, I don't like the sound of that. Plastic gets brittle with age, doesn't it? And it has to come off. We have no option. Woohoo, that's one. Right, just sort of replicate the same thing again now. There we go. Right. Oh look, get a free bug with every gallon of petrol. There we are, it's gone now. Oakley dokley. So, how is the sock filter held into place? Oh, it looks pretty simple actually. It looks like there's a little clip just at the back here. I sort of don't want to bend anything. At the back, which you just pull back. Oh, nearly got me. It did get me in the eye. Where the hell did that go? Holy crap, there it is. Right, when you do that, wear safety glasses and beware, it's going to fly across the workshop. God, nearly got me. My super reflexes closed my eyelid just in time. Right, so we can now pull that out. That is the old filter, looking pretty mank, because it's only done 1,800 kilometres. We'll cut that open in a minute when I look inside, but let's just get this one fitted. So it came off in that orientation. Can you get it wrong? No, you can't. It's got a little peg hole just underneath, so that's good. Good for people like me anyway. Okay, jeez. Luckily it hit my bad eye. Honestly, these things just try, they're there to catch you out at any time, aren't they? Right. Okay, new sock filter. Not cheap, to be fair. And, holy moly, it didn't come with an O-ring. How cheap can you get? I've got a little tool to pull that off. We need the O-ring. Well, with a semi-blunt pick, we'll just try and get behind that O-ring and flick it off without damaging it. There we go. At least that didn't fire across the workshop. Jeez. Okay, let's take the little plug off. Out, away. Oh yeah. And O-ring is now installed. That was easy, wasn't it? Okay, that now goes back in there. And we get to refit that pain in the ass little clip. There we are. Right. That was easy, wasn't it? Sock filter fitted. Okay, next job is to reinstall this little tray. I'm just going to clean out the crap out the bottom of there. Hang on. Here's a rag. There we are. There's a few little bits of dirt. Okay, that'll do. Super job. Okay, now we need to refit this without breaking it. Jeez. Golly, it sounds awful, doesn't it? There's one. And now for this side. Jeez, two. Right. Nice. We're good to go. One more thing to do, I think. Don't like all the dirt around the top, so we'll give it a quick blast off and we'll clean it off like we did the old the air filter on the previous video. Bit of brake cleaner. Get me a paintbrush. Work it round. It also eliminates the risk of getting dirt inside the tank when we're refitting this thing, because it's a bloody tight fit, to be honest. And I mean, Suzuki say you can't do it. Looking at the manual, it says you've got to remove the fuel tank, and there is no way I'm going to remove that fuel tank. It's only in for a service, for God's sake. There we go. Where's the airline? Alright, hold your ears. Cool, yeah? Well, so far so good. And just remember, I haven't done this particular job on this Suzuki ATV before. I haven't done it. This is the first time. And it's dribbling fuel. Oh God, there's fuel going everywhere. Okay, so it's all done. New sock filters in. We will take a look at the old sock filter. We'll cut that open towards the end of the video. So if that's all you're interested in, fast forward that now. In the meantime, we can now fit this fuel pump. And I suppose the same video would be, you know, if you had to replace this unit. It's exactly the same job, isn't it? Okay, let's head over to the bike and see if we can get this back into the fuel tank in one piece without getting a lot of dirt in there as well. Here we go. Whew. Right, first job. I did put a cover over it just in case. Didn't know how long it was going to take, so it just stops the fumes in the workshop a little bit, so we'll get rid of that. And now we need to install, I think first, this little collar. This is what drops in the fuel tank earlier on. Right, now I think a bit of silicone spray around that on the inside will be a really good thing, because it's going to help that pump to go in without dragging the seal down into the tank. So maybe I'll spray that first away from the fuel. There we go, the Forge S420. Right, just do it away from the tank. There we go. Now we can install that. Beautiful. Right, where's that pump? Okay, I'm going in. Now we'll be able to twistle it around, so maybe I have to go that way. The other way out, look. Okay, and now it gets a bit tight. Oh, that wasn't too bad, was it? Oh, look at that. It actually pushes down the bottom of the tank. That's why it was springy earlier on. Okay, a bit more silicone spray on the threads, I think. Just to, you know, eliminate some of that friction, because it was quite tight to do up. Okay. Oh, look at that. Fantastic. Got to start those threads now. There we go, looking good. No, not looking good. They're not lined up. Needs to go on parallel or perpendicular, whichever bit you're looking at. It feels better. So now it's pushing that pump down to the bottom of the tank. There's obviously some springs in those two upright legs. There we go. It's in! Now for our special tool, which is not meant for this, it's meant for doing clutches, but it seemed to work just enough. I reckon that'll do. Because we've got the silicone spray on there now, so it's not too bad. That's near enough straight ahead. There's no indent to keep it in the right place, so that's plugged in. Right, side cutters. Where the hell are the side cutters? Cut that. Okay, now for that weird little clip, which goes on that way. Over there, I think. Okay. Maybe the other way around. Let's have a look. Can it go in either way? It can go in that way easy enough. It can go in that way easy enough. Okay. Very important we get this right. The last thing you want is this pipe flying off. Just get out of the way for a second. Don't break it. Right, I see. Okay. So as I push that on, it should clip into place. Nearly. That would stop it coming off. Flat screwdriver required. Just need to ease that in. That's one. Is that one in? It is. That one's in. Okay. So it looks like it's on. Okay. Let's turn on the pump. And will it start? Doesn't start. Why doesn't it start? Oh, hang on. Rollover sensor. Probably one of these. Turn the ignition off. Okay. So let's stick all the relays back into place. I think one of them might be a rollover sensor. We will find out. Because of course it doesn't let the bike run if it's rolled over. Okay, so we need that that plastic cover now, don't we, to go in. Okay. So that goes in from the front and then slides backwards to lock it into place. There we go, look. We need those two little clips. It's actually not a bad design once you know how it works. That's one. And that one is the other one. Okay, now we can clip stuff into place. Right, furthest away first, I think. So that's quite a deep one. Now, what went on there? That's for the fuse box. There was something that went on there, wasn't there? Where is it? So much stuff. Maybe it was just a relay. I don't know. Should check the footage really, shouldn't I? I know where this goes. Right, starter relay's in place. That one went on there. I remember that. Okay. ECU, which might have the rollover sensor in it. It might be integral to the ECU, I don't know. Stick him back on there. Right, he's all good. Well, I suppose we'll just clip these into place and see what happens. That seems to want to go about there. And that one is about the longest one, so we'll stick him on there. That's that one. Diagnostic plug. Let's stick him on there. That one on there. That all feels pretty good. Probably completely wrong. It feels okay. Right. What have we got left? Heaps! Look at all this stuff! Right, that's the fuse box. We can put him in there, look. Fuse box done. Right, there's a long one. Not long enough. Oh, where did that go? Where did that go? Maybe stick him on that one. There, look. This one definitely goes at the end. There we are. Right, that one was what went in there. I remember that. Ah, yes, that could well be the rollover sensor. In which case it has to go that way. Up. Perfect. That is the rollover sensor. Okay. And we've got another long one. Where the hell is that going to go? Okay, can we shuffle all these down one? Yep, he'll fit in there nicely. Shuffle him down one. There we go. And this one we're going to stick down there. On there, look. Lovely jubbly. That looks to me about right. It all seems to be quite happy. Right, now we've got these two Christmas tree clips for the loom. One. Oh, Mr. Loom, you can do it. Two, there we are. Right, now it should start. Hopefully. I love it when a plan comes together. No, I didn't look at the footage, so it may be that one of those relays will be in a different place to the others, but the key one was the rollover sensor, that what we call a lean angle sensor. When that's not sat correctly on the bike, if it exceeds a certain degrees, I think it's normally 65 for most ATVs, then it will prevent the bike from starting. Some bikes, it stops the fuel pump from running. In this case, it didn't. The fuel pump still runs, even when the bike's upside down. It doesn't allow the engine to run. Personally, I'd much rather turn off the fuel pump, to be fair. Anyway, I did promise that we would take a look inside the old sock filter. So I'll go and find my scissors and we'll cut it open. Here we go. Righty-ho, here we go. It does seem quite discoloured, given the fact the bike isn't particularly old. And there was traces of water in the fuel tank. I saw that when I pulled the pump out. It was in that little tray at the bottom. Okay. Let's get rid of all this. Don't need that. Okay, what have we got? Let's cut that bit out. Don't need that. Can't reuse it now, can we? Okay, right. Oh, that's all the debris. Don't need the mesh. Don't need the other bits. Yeah, 1800 Ks. That's pretty black and horrible, isn't it? It's not ideal. Give it a good squeeze out and see what happens. In fact, let's find a little bowl to put things in. Hang on. Right, a clean bowl. Oh, look at that. That's filthy, isn't it? That's what's giving it all the discoloration. That's all the dirt that it's collected out of the fuel. I reckon they must be using dirty cans. I will tell the owner not to use dirty fuel cans anymore. Can we get any more out? Ah, that's it. Well, yeah, not good. But no water in the filter itself, but there was in the bottom of the tank. So, not a bad job all in all, and it just goes to show that the manuals are not always correct. Taking that fuel tank out would have added at least another hour, if not an hour and a half, to this particular job. Obviously, I'll go around and make sure there's no fuel leaks when I test ride the bike to make sure that that collar's on nice and tight. If it is leaking, well, it's not a big job taking those relays out of the way again and giving it another tweak, but I think it'll be okay. So, hopefully you enjoyed this video. It's going to cover replacing the sock filter and, realistically, if you need to replace the fuel pump on one of these bikes. And to be honest, a lot of the Suzuki quads are all very similar, so again, it might help with other models as well. It's not a difficult job. Take your time and make sure, especially, there's no naked flames around when you're taking that fuel pump out, because you're exposing the whole fuel tank contents to, well, potential fire. Be careful. Why not subscribe to the channel? Ring the bell, that way you won't miss any of the future videos. There's a whole series of videos on various parts to the service on one of these Suzuki ATVs. So far we've done engine oil, we've done front diff oil, we've done spark plug replacement, we've done air filter replacement, or sorry, cleaning and refitting. And now we've just done the fuel filter in the fuel tank on the fuel pump. There's still a few more to go. I've got a valve clearance video to do. What else have we got? We've got the rear final drive oil to change. That's a very specific oil that needs to go in there because it's got a wet brake. There's no rear calipers. It's actually an internal wet brake system. And the oil for that is a Mobile Fluid 424. So I've got to find some of that. I haven't got any, and I can't just put in normal diff oil because that will cause damage to those friction plates. And of course, the brake may not work very well. That's not good, is it? You'll also find me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Feel free to communicate through any of those portals. My email address is down the bottom in the description. It's andymechanic@live.co.uk. Feel free to flick me an email. I'll do my best to reply. It is me that does the replies. I am extremely busy. If I don't get back to you, my apologies. Just try again. Now, if you'd like to support the channel, you can do that through Patreon. You can become a patron, and there's a link on the home page for that. Or you can send through a donation via PayPal, and it's the same email address, andymechanic@live.co.uk. And all funds, whether it's $1, $10, whatever, are gratefully received. It helps to pay for making these videos. Okay, crew, well, until next time, cheers, over and out. And we get the
Oh!